Hello again, this is Justin Grabko, and I'm going to do a final 7 round mock draft for your Green Bay Packers. Um, Nothing's really changed since the last time I did a mock draft, as in the Packers moves. Obviously, they signed Sammy Watkins to a 1 year deal. If he stays healthy, I could very well see him be our number 2 receiver and possibly contribute to about, maybe 45, 50 receptions. Jarron Reed's on a 1 year on a one on a 1 year deal, helping out that interior line next to Kenny Clark. I think he's going to contribute, give some good, you know, give us some good play at the interior defensive line, and could be a prove it year. If he does well, we could probably re-sign him to an extension. Um, we do know that the secondary is pretty much well set for this year, but with the three corners, Alexander, Russell Douglas, and Eric Stokes, that three-headed monster could very well be the best in the NFL. And I think we're going to work on a deal to keep Jair Alexander around for the long term too. I think that's going to be in play for around throughout the season. I think we're going to extend him to that too. Um, but there are some needs in this draft. Obviously, we need receivers to come in and contribute too. This wide receiver class is very deep. There's a couple guys that I have my eyes on too for that can contribute right away and fit to what the Packers want. Um, and usually, what the Packers do in the first round is to draft based on youth and raw ability and talent. Um, they've shown that in the past too with guys like Kenny Clark and Darnell Savage. Darnell Savage was not an upperclassman when they drafted him out of Maryland too, and Kenny Clark was 19 when they drafted him late in the first round. So and look at how those players ended up being. They ended up being critical players in that defense. And then let's go ahead and get this draft going here. Another thing that they need is safety too. I think the Packers are going to be looking for a third safety and a future starter there. Thibodeaux's number one, Willis is number two. The top 10 kind of shook things up a little bit, but I do think that it's going to have those type of guys in the top 10, the upper tier talent. This is going to be interesting. I am not going to trade down because I personally think the best receiver is on the board, and I think those people like it. And I would be super excited if the Packers don't trade up and get a guy like Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson, I think, is the best overall receiver in this draft class. So basically, come in there and be our number one guy over time. It's that's a very good deal right there. But right now, the Lions want me to trade 28 and 258 for 32 and 97. There's guys like Daxton Hill, Treylon Burks, Lewis Cine, Perry and Winfrey. Well, there's going to be guys there at this draft, and if I can gain another third round pick from the Lions, and Lewis only a seventh round pick, I'm going to do it. And they picked Treylon Burks, Lewis Cine, Devontae Wyatt, David Ojabo is drafted there. And there's another guy right here that I've had my eye on this time right here, and that's Daxton Hill. Third safety, can come out to be a future starter, and can pretty much play anywhere in the secondary. You can put him at corner, put him at slot. You can put him in at deep safety. He's very versatile, and I'm going to take him right there. He's basically the best safety. Basically, one of the top three defensive backs in the whole draft. So if I get Garrett Wilson and Daxton Hill, and at 22 and 32, I would be super stoked, but I don't think that's really going to happen. But this is the mock draft. This is how this is basically what I'm doing right here. There's a guy right there that the Packers had their eye on too, George Pickens. He went to the Steelers, but this is interesting right here. 53 and 132 for 57.89, a second and a third. There's a couple guys that I can probably get while moving down, while gaining another third round pick. I'm going to take this trade with the Bills. They picked up Trey McBride. They had him in the Packers mock draft. I'm going to ignore that. But a guy that I really had my eye on too is in the second round. Alec Pierce. He's the 57th ranked player, and I'm going to take him at 57. Kind of reminds me of a Jordy Nelson type guy. I am not going to trade down. I'm going to keep my 2 second round picks. You got DeMarvin Leal. You got Sean Ryan. I don't think he fits in with the scheme that the Packers want. He's kind of a bull rushing guard, and the Packers have been set at guard. So maybe I could probably go down and get an offensive tackle like Abraham Lucas. Logan Hall, a defensive tackle. He can play a little bit at end. He can play anywhere. Can play a little bit on the edge. And another guy that probably could help him is DeMarvin Leal. I think he could pretty much play anywhere too. But the guy who I have my eye on is Logan Hall. He could play pretty much anywhere along that front seven right there and contribute 6'6", 280, 285, and very athletic. Kind of reminds me of how, Packers saw Rashawn Gary. Let's see what they got here. See, at the edge, I want to pick up an edge guy that's a rotational guy and can give the Packers, good rotational depth. I mean, you don't need an instant starter right away. Um, Guy who I have my eyes on, the Packers are very high on too. It might be a little high to pick him up, but I think the Packers do really like this guy. 6'5", 6'6", 270. Play a little end, can play a little bit on the edge too, and showed some ability when he was at UAB, and that's Alex Wright. See, there isn't many offensive linemen right now. I don't think the Packers are going to go after Kennard, Braxton Jones, Zach Tom. Those guys are guys that I've really seen as abilities right there. Do we draft? Is this too high to draft them? Some draft boards, they're third round picks, they're fourth round picks, fifth round picks, but Packers are high on, versatile, athletic, good pass blocking offensive linemen, and Braxton Jones fits their mold. So I'm going to pick him at 92. We got 3 third round picks here. Not a bad setup right here with the quality of players that are around here. One guy that have been on some draft boards, and I think he can be a contributor at that. Good blocker, can get downfield. Jeremy Ruckert out of Ohio State. I think he can be a guy that is versatile, good blocker, can catch passes down the field, reliable pass catcher, good red zone threat, and I think he can contribute right away for the Packers on offense in that scenario. Traded our 132 pick to Buffalo. They picked up Rasheed Walker out of Penn State. Another tackle that's pretty raw and has good athletic ability. But we do have another fourth round pick. And I mean, there's running backs here in James Cook, Brian Robinson Jr., Zonovan Knight, but Packers don't really need a running back unless they think about getting a guy like that getting a guy to trade for. Um, I'm gonna go defense right here too, and I'm gonna go with the edge and another guy that people are saying that the Packers going to draft within the third or fourth round, and that's Josh Pascal. Um, he scored pretty well. He could be very well as high as a second round pick, but I could very well see him going down to the third or fourth round based on how draft boards go. So if he's there at the fourth round, he's a steal. 6'2", 270. He's got a good motor. Um, I think he's type of guy the Packers want on that pass rush and a good depth piece. 171. Packers have a plethora of picks, a place to go right here. They can go with another offensive lineman. They can go with running back. I mean, James Cook and Zamir White can be solid pickups right there. But I'm going to go with a safety here. Smoke Monday out of Auburn. I think that's a good value pick right there. They think he's going to be a day 3 pick, and players out of Auburn usually come out and become decent players. So that's good value right there. And I am back. No picks in the second round, in the sixth round for the Packers. So at 228, going with value picks here. DJ Davidson, defensive tackle at Arizona State, can just be a rotational piece and just develop there as because there's not much depth on the defensive line right there. So I think Packers can go that route too. Um, I'm definitely going to go with, possibly, running back. They've done well with picking up running backs later in the draft. Kylan Hill, they're very high on too. They picked them up in the 7th round. And that is it for the Packers right there, as in draft picks. Garrett Wilson, if Garrett Wilson comes down at 22, I would be so stoked for that. I mean, he can easily jump in and be a number 1 wideout for us Packers and for many teams with his talent level. Daxton Hill, he's going to contribute right away. Very versatile guy. I mean, I would be very happy with those 2 first-round picks. Alec Pierce, do it all type guy, likes to block, go deep, 4.4 speed, 6'3", and it's got solid hands. Reminds me of a Jordy Nelson type guy. Logan Hall can play anywhere along that defensive front and can contribute right away too. Alex Wright, good rotational piece, guy you can develop right there. And like him at 89, Packers had a visit with him and they loved him. Braxton Jones, versatile offensive lineman in the 3rd round. I think he can give that right tackle job with Yosh Nijman right now a run for his money too. So that's a good pick in my opinion. Jeremy Ruckert, another 3rd round pick, tight end, can come out and be a good contributor right off the way until Tanyan's in, and it could also be our future starting tight end. Josh Pascal, same way, rotational guy, can play anywhere along that defensive front, and just got a good motor. Smoke Monday, DJ Davidson and Keontae Ingram, just good value guys right there. And I was thinking about trying to get an offensive lineman in later days, but just didn't pan out right there. I think the Packers like their offensive linemen. They do know they need another tackle there, and I think Braxton Jones is a good pick right there in the 3rd round to develop and be a future starter at right tackle, or even a backup rotational piece if they feel comfortable with Nijman or Elton Jenkins there too. So there you go. That's my draft, and let me know what you think.